firm type, but I can live with that. All right. How's everybody? How's everybody? Awesome. Good, good, good. Okay, so first kind of real class today. I know the books are not there. I wandered over to the bookstore. They have assured me that they will be there Monday. Of course, we don't have class Monday. I can't imagine anyone will be in the bookstore on Monday. However, that means that they will probably be there on Tuesday. 5 minutes I can kind of deal with. Anything beyond that, don't bother. So please, please, please make sure that you get your books on, as soon as you can. Head back on Monday, Tuesday. Whenever the bookstore is open, they should be there. I apologize for the delay on that. What I'll do, given that, is I'm going to lecture on material that's in the book, and I'll make sure to post my PowerPoint slides and all of those things so that there are no issues with the book. We'll be able to catch up. Not that concerned about it. In the future, when you come in, let's use some area, one of the front desks, to drop your current events off, because it's going to take a while for you all to pass them in, which is what we need to do right now. Yeah, everyone at one point or another is going to have some issue. The printer wouldn't work. They did blah, blah, blah. Just try and get your current events in. Oh, I see. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, that's a good course of action. If your printer fails, write it by hand. I would prefer them printed. But thank you. Were there other hands about this, or did I answer that question? Yes. No, I really want the summary, but make sure you can tell me where the article came from. We'll probably get a little bit of a reprieve here this first week. My graduate assistant has not yet been formalized. Once he or she will be the one that will be putting all of these things into the grade book to make sure you did it. Chances of me doing that this week are very slim. So if you for some reason don't have a current event this time, you'll probably be okay, but it will get less okay moving forward. All right, here's the chance where we get to talk about what's going on, and I get to butcher people's names. Wow, I don't even know how to do that. Miss Ruiz? You don't have to stand up. Eleazar? Oh, Mr. Ruiz. I apologize. Not only did I butcher the name, I butchered the gender, and I can tell that by your beard. Tell me how you pronounce your name, please, sir. You can call me Pee-wee. I can call you Wee? Pee-wee. I abbreviated Pee-wee. I just went with Wee. Okay, Pee-wee. In the future, if you're more than 5 minutes late, don't come. And don't walk in front of me. Okay. All right. So let's see. Pee-wee. Tell us what your current event is about.
Pretty much.
Your first, Pee-wee.
The Nintendo Wii has made a promise not to add any more like.
Maybe it would help if you stand up. Thank you.
The Nintendo Wii has made a promise not to add any more technology to their console. They're just adding software, unlike Microsoft and Sony.
So now you can sit down. Thank you. So what is the issue here? There are all these platforms, they call them, correct, Pee-wee? There is. Do other people call you Pee-wee, or is that just me that will call you Pee-wee now? That's like your nickname. It's not just our special little name where I call you Pee-wee and you call me some little special nickname for me, like Mr. Awesome. So Nintendo had kind of gone away to a certain degree, right? And then what came around, Pee-wee, and made them come back? The Wii, Pee-wee, right? What was so special about this Wii? The remote control. You're going to wave it around. Right? And what happened with Nintendo? Where are they now? How are they doing now?
They're doing better.
Doing better. So how would a company, how would you have to, if you had to answer this, Pee-wee, what would you say that Nintendo did that allowed them to go from a company that was largely not doing very well to one that got back on the top of the game?
Technological advances.
Oh, technological advances. What might be a synonym for that two-word phrase that would be one word?
Technology.
No, that's just one of the two words. Somebody. Innovation, right? Very good. What can we do, Pee-wee? We have a choice, right? We can innovate or die. Very good. Look, I don't want to talk about the Haiti earthquake beyond the fact to say that my sister-in-law has adopted 2 young Haitians. Do whatever you can. One thing that you can do, which I think is a wonderful use of technology, I forget the site, I'll post it, or I'll email it out to you all. But if you have an Amazon account, one of the aid sites is now letting you donate just by signing in through your Amazon account. $5, $2, anything. It is a tragedy of massive scale. So let's do what we can. If each one of us in here put $1 in, that would be something, right? Little tiny one. Hillary Jones. Mrs. Jones.
That's me.
Hello, Hillary Jones. How are you?
I'm good.
What is this globalization you speak of?
Globalization, different nations in the world are good at producing different things, and
Why is that?
they have different resources,
Oh,
different technology, different people.
good. Let's focus on people.
People.
Okay.
Yes.
So countries like India and China, for example, produce goods, toys, drywall, etc., at low cost, which are then exported around the world. Good thing or bad thing?
It can be both.
Yes, it can.
I think it's a good thing. We in the United States and like in the Western world, we're getting the benefits of low-cost manufacturing in those other nations, which is good for us, and that way we can specialize in what
Is it good for us? Does anybody have a counterexample? Anyone want to disagree? Yes.
And it's harder for U.S. to compete if you want to create our own goods because they're producing it at a cheaper.
What do you say to that, Hillary Jones?
I think that's definitely true, but we can specialize in producing things that we're good at.
Such as?
What is the U.S. good at producing?
There was the incident in China where they made faulty,
Toys.
and drywall.
Drywall, too, yeah.
And we can't, if they're such a large resource, we can't regulate it as well, and we're dependent on them to make it, well.
Very good. What are we good at?
Cars, maybe?
Cars. Is that where you want to put your stake on cars? What else might we be good at? Porn? The Germans are way better at porn. Entertainment. Creativity. Is this fast food? Sad but true. Is this true, Hillary?
Yes.
Are we good at innovation, at entertainment, at that type of thing? Fine. So let's talk about countries like India. How would you describe India if you had to, real quickly?
I'd say a great majority of it is still very poor.
Very poor.
uneducated.
Uneducated.
I mean, they're making advances in some of the cities.
And what happens when they make those advances in terms of the poor?
Well, I guess the thought is that the more wealth that the country has, the more education, and the more wealth that the nation has, that it's going to trickle down.
Hillary, what is a 3-letter abbreviation that means wealth that starts with G?
The gross national product.
Close. Let's call it the gross domestic product, okay? GDP, right? Everybody hear that? This will be something that will be tested upon, right? Gross domestic product. Hillary, what is the gross domestic product?
It's the total, I believe it's the total, I guess, the money that's within the nation.
It's all the goods and services that a country creates, the value of that creation, okay? Now, what happens, what is related, Hillary, to gross domestic product? If gross domestic product rises, what else happens? What else rises with it?
Hopefully standard of living.
Look at you go. Excellent. Quality of life, standard of living goes up. The more money a country generates through its goods and services, the higher the standard of living. Okay? Good so far? It's a good little equation to know. As GDP goes up, so too does standard of living. So in a country like India, Hillary, what does that mean? The first adjective you used to describe India was what?
Poor.
Poor. So as we grow this GDP, in theory, people become less poor. All good so far, right? What's the downside?
There's still a lot of people in India that are in the bottom billion of the world.
Sure. What other downsides are there?
There are, I guess, like the wealth in India is still being very heavily concentrated in a few hands.
Okay, good. Yes?
We're increasing their gross domestic product, probably decreasing our own.
Well, that's an interesting point, right? Do we believe that all the wealth in the world is a finite pie? India, US, China, rest of the world. So if India becomes this, then the US must become this. That's your point, correct? Right or wrong? You agree? Who else agrees? Everyone else disagrees? The rest of you don't care. It's wrong. We can't conceive of wealth as being finite. It is not, as they call, anybody play chess? Chess is what type of game? Zero sum. What's a zero sum game? One winner, one loser. Our economy, the world's economy, is not zero sum. Just because India wins does not mean we lose. What happens is we increase the pie. Okay? And it's important to kind of think of that. Now, your point's well made. And it speaks to this idea of, look, if they're making cheap drywall in China, we're going to have to cut our output of drywall in the States. People are going to lose jobs. It does not, however, mean if they make more money that we can't make more money. It just means we have to make it in different ways. We grow the pie. We grow the wealth. So back for 1 second. You've very well articulated the good part of, as your title, your first word in your little article here is globalization. Raise the GDP, raise standard of living, less people starve. All good. Somebody give me a bad. Yeah.
Start paying the workers more?
No, that's good. Yeah. Inflation? Maybe. Think a little broader than economics. What else happens? Yeah.
Like with globalization, sometimes people argue that people have lost the focus on like the country itself and like the culture.
Culture. So in India right now, you get a job as a customer service representative. Is that accurate, Hillary? A lot of customer service. A lot of times you call up Apple and you get an Indian customer service agent. and they get on the phone and they say, hi, my name is Hillary, right? Is that their name? No. What might their name be?
Rasheen.
Yeah, an Indian name. Why, Hillary, are they saying that their name is Hillary instead of whatever it was that you kind of mumbled before you left?
Because it's more palatable for the rest of the world to understand.
Yeah. It's more American,
Yeah.
correct? So a synonym for globalization is Americanization, okay? Rightly or wrongly, we are the cultural leaders. We are the ones that other countries say, I want my Levi's. So the downside of this is their culture starts to get kind of screwy. No longer do they identify themselves as their own name, they identify themselves as an Americanized name, not even an Americanized version of their name. Are we okay with this? Huh?
We are.
As a buyer, yeah, we get products and services, I guess, you know. I frankly wouldn't mind speaking to a customer service agent that speaks my native tongue at times, right? There's no slant on their native tongue, it's just not very efficient. But are we okay with the culture being Americanized? Is that okay? Right? Is it okay that I could take you all, blindfold you, put you in a helicopter, drive around in that helicopter for a while, land, put you out on a street, and you would see a Walmart, you would see a Chili's, you would see a Best Buy, you would see a car lot, and I'd say, what city are you in? And you would have no idea. Is that okay? And is it okay that we're giving up that culture? Because if we don't, what happens, Hillary?
We lose out.
Not us.
The other people.
Because GDP does what?
Stays the same.
No.
Decreases.
Okay, fine. GDP doesn't go up, and what doesn't go up with it?
Standard of
And
living.
what happens?
People starve.
People starve. So this is our fundamental problem as we wrestle with business and globalization and all these other things. What do we value more? Do we value, as you'll see from your book, the Lexus, the technology, right? Or do we value the olive tree, the culture? And the tension between those two is the defining issue that we have as humanity moving forward. And we'll see when we study there. Because when that Lexus and that olive tree come together, right? When they clash, people fly airplanes into buildings. Did you have a point?
Well, I was gonna, I mean, you could argue, I don't know if I feel this way, but, I mean, you could argue that because GDP and capital and GDP and stuff like that are products of capitalism in developing nations like India, only people that really participate in capitalism feel the benefits and increase GDP, and for, like, the really, really poor people in India, they're not really, like, they don't really have the opportunity to participate in, like, the kind of capitalism we know, so,
What do they participate in?
I don't know, maybe like more, I don't want to say like partisan economy, but maybe like more, I'm not sure if that's not the right word.
No, there's still very much a kind of an agrarian economy, though I will tell you, if you go into in a remote Indian village, what are you going to find?
Coca-Cola.
You find Coca-Cola. What else do we find? Cell phones. So whether or not they like it, well, you're right. There's a ripple effect. But there's an inexorable and unstoppable move towards this. And those remote villages get less remote each day. Not to say that there aren't remote villages, but they're fewer and fewer, and they're more and more connected. We used to talk of the $100 laptop. The $100 laptop has been displaced. We now talk about the $12 connected iPhone. Right? That's where we have to get. Peter Deloria.
It's an I, Deoria.
Don't come so late. Really late. So how would I pronounce your last name?
Deoria.
Deoria. This speaks to your current event to a degree, correct?
What does?
What's your current event?
Oh, okay. It's
Did you think I was talking, we're going to swap recipes or something?
China is planning on introducing a new car into the U.S. the auto manufacturing.
What type of car?
An electric car.
Electric car. Good idea, bad idea?
For who? I think it's a good idea.
For who?
Well, a good idea for consumers, bad for American car makers.
Why is it bad for American car makers?
Because they have more competition.
Competition bad?
It could be both. It could be good and bad. It'll make them better, or it could run them out of business.
What do they have to do?
Innovate.
Catching on. Such as phone companies? Yeah. How so?
Like, also was bought out by Verizon, so it's different. Like what kind of phones they had, or just better models, you know? Like the iPhone over with Verizon right now. Like,
Do we think the iPhone's got a lock? No one will ever come up with something better than the iPhone? No one's ever going to come up with something better than the iPhone. Yeah, of course. Right? Android may be it. I don't know. I tend to not think so. But. Joshua. Hi, Joshua. How are you?
Doing good.
You're doing good. Tell us about your current event, Joshua.
The published media is experimenting with this technology called augmented technology.
No, augmented.
Reality. I mean,
What is augmented reality? Who here knows what augmented reality is? Joshua, would you like to explain it?
It's when you embed a video file into the printed media,
Yeah.
and you can view the video with a webcam. So it's like a multimedia thing.
I'll show you. Okay. I'm currently searching for pizza in a 4-mile radius to here. My camera up. Ah. Can anybody see? See the little dots popping up? Anybody see this? Where I point, the dots start to pop up where the pizza joints are. Do we like this? Augmented reality. The app is called Layar, L-A-Y-A-R. You can also get this on Yelp. This, ladies and gentlemen, is something of the future, right? What we looked for last year in technology was instant status update. How did we find this instant status update, Joshua?
Social network sites,
Such as
Facebook.
Facebook, Twitter, right? You guys don't like Twitter, it doesn't really mean anything to you all. You don't have a network. You don't have enough people in your network who care what your status update is, or you're around these people anyway, so who exactly are you broadcasting it out? As your network increases, it becomes more relevant. In any case, as instant status update was to 2009, location-based services are to 2010. Somebody name me a location-based app. Yeah. Yeah, Latitude's is a good one. That's Google product. Give me a non-Google product. Anybody know Foursquare? Who have iPhones here? Everyone with iPhones, please download the Foursquare app. And someone be prepared to talk about it next time. I'm sorry? Yeah. So all of these where you're able to, go ahead. Shazam? Well, Shazam allows you to identify the music. What does it have to do with location? Will it tell you where you are? Yeah, but that has nothing to do with location. Around me is a good one. I'm talking about where you will be, okay, I have just checked into this restaurant or what have you, and you'll be able to see the other people that are around you in that same instance. And with your phone, you'll be able to pop it around. Now imagine, I just showed you how Layar works. Imagine if we all had one of those elements on our phones, and we walked into a club, and we took our phone around, and we had set up our preferences to say, I like women with hairy armpits who like Metallica, okay? And there is someone in that club female with hairy armpits that likes Metallica, and that's on their profile. And we both do this, right? And then, ba-boom. Am I crazy? Does that sound like it's not going to happen? No, am I wrong? Huh? A sad day. Why would that be? No, no, it's not a sad day, okay? Because the alternative is, how would I know, poor young lady of my dreams? Now I'm married to the lady of my dreams, but in another universe, lady of my dreams with the hairy armpits, who has a shirt on, and likes Metallica unless she's wearing a Metallica, how would I know? But with this, I know, love connection. Why is this a sad day? You can't. Really? I will agree with you that you are likely going to need other things than technology to have a love connection, right? Until the robot of my dreams appears. But in terms of filtering things and weeding out all the women with hairless armpits who don't like Metallica, why would I not want to accelerate that process? It helps. Agreed. Filters. The ability to strip away all of this information that is meaningless to us and yet bombards us is our challenge. If you can listen to any song at any time, how do you know which one to listen to? I can go to Lala or to Mog, and there will be a search box. I can plug Rachmaninoff in. I can plug Vampire Weekend in. I can plug whatever. How do I know? What? How do I know what to put in? We need filters. We need things that say, this will help you decide amidst all this cascade of information. And we determine what those filters are based on, right, our values, what we care about. And that will segue me to my lecture. Remind me to start the projector next time before I do all the other crap. Come on. We're getting there. All right, mission, vision, values, right? Fundamental kind of tenets of business, your mission, your vision, your values. You have to learn these. You're going to have to learn kind of generally what they mean, how they apply, how to distinguish them. On the test, there will be kind of little trick questions that will say identify a mission statement, identify a vision statement. You're going to need to know the difference. We talked about this. Now we have no class on Monday. Enjoy yourself. But for Wednesday, make sure that you've gotten up through chapter 3. Now, and note on the syllabus, don't look at the chapters in the book. Just read sequentially, okay? Just read through the book. The blue one. The blue one that's not in the bookstore yet, okay? Do your best. I know you're going to just be getting the book. You know, we'll catch up. All right, so my approach, as I said last time, this is kind of my summary of business generally. How do I make that go away? I hate fluorescent lights with all of my heart. What now? Thank you. Oh, next time, bring candles, right, and some Stevie Nicks scarves to drape over some lamps and stuff. All right, so what I teach, what I love, what I live is this idea of values-based management because it answers all the questions. Figure out what you care about, right? What makes you tick? We talked last time about this purpose idea, this thing that gets you out of bed, right? And then you can start finding some other people that care about the same thing. That's fundamental marketing. And yet I see people screw this up all the time. What do they say? When I ask, well, who's the audience for your product? What's the wrong answer? Everyone. And yet, you know, I just wrote this song. I think everyone will like it. You're all guilty of that. And you're not necessarily wrong. It's possible there are only a handful of songs that everyone likes, but perhaps you have written Fur Elise. Perhaps you have written Thriller, okay? Perhaps you have written Yesterday. Perhaps you have written Round About Midnight. I don't know, but probably not. And even if you have written any of those things, how in God's name do you market to everyone unless you're Coca-Cola? Right? You don't. So you figure out people who the ideal customer is. You start narrowing them down, starting broad, getting more specific. And then you can start creating an approach. You can start figuring out, okay, well, I got this thing. Last class I said, make something, build something, do something. Well, make your thing, and then figure out who might like this thing, and how am I going to get to them. Now, okay, I got my thing. I found some people that will like that thing, but it's going to require that I build a blimp and fly over them and drop it down onto them, right? That's not going to work unless you happen to have a blimp. So you have to start figuring out, how do these two work together? What can I do? And as musicians, what is your natural instinct is to say, well, get on the radio. Right? Wrong. Let's move away from music. You've developed an iPhone app. Okay, well, I just have to, maybe I'll take an ad out somewhere. Not sure where one would take an ad out for your iPhone app. Maybe you make shoes. Okay, well, I'm going to take an ad out in Vogue magazine. What does an ad in Vogue magazine cost even after the economic collapse? A lot, right? More than we have. So your financial plan has to relate somehow. So values we've talked about. We defined them last time. They're not characteristics in that, you know, it's not, it's what you care about, okay? What happened with Google yesterday? What did they do? Go ahead.
They announced they're thinking of dropping out of China.
Yeah. Why?
Because there are hackers trying to attack them. Something like that.
Censorship. They're feeling like, you know what, we tried this thing, we opened up Google China. You can go there. You can go google.cn. You'll see it. And we tried to play nice with the government and not allow, you can't search for everything in google.cn. The Chinese government said, no, you know, we really don't want you looking at X, Y, or Z. So Google said, you know, okay. But then along the way, Google started getting hacked. And the sort of subtle message was, we're being hacked by the Chinese government. Okay, if you read between the lines, that's what they said. Now, Google's making money in China. Google wants to have a presence in China, but their values are such that they said, we're pulling out. Forget it. We're not pulling out yet. We are going to take down these censorship blocks, and if that forces us to pull out, so be it. Abiding by this censorship is in direct opposition to our values, and we won't do it. Right? One of Google's little mantras, not mission, was what? What's Google's mantra? There was. Anybody remember?
Don't be evil.
Don't be evil. No, that's right. At the very beginning when they started, one of their guiding principles was, don't be evil. Is that a good mission? I think so. Somebody throw out another company mantra or mission.
Wikipedia, everything for everybody.
Everything for everybody. Does that fit the need for Wikipedia? Is that a good one? Yeah. Give me another one. Have it your way. Burger King. Very good. Another one. Now, these aren't mission statements, by the way. Go ahead. Somebody? Somebody said it. Say it louder. Just do it. What's that? Where did that come from? Anybody read? Anybody read? Anybody read? Bill Hicks. Anybody know Bill Hicks? Comedian Bill Hicks. So Bill Hicks has done he's dead now, but I put out his records. He was in the South somewhere, right? Maybe Louisiana, and did a comedy show, which wasn't his favorite place to play. And he went into a Waffle House because late at night in the South, that's where you go to eat, right? And he sits down, he's reading a book, he's ordering his thing, and the waitress walks up to him and says, "What you reading for?" Not what you're reading, but what you're reading for. So Bill kind of looks up from his book and says, well, I guess I'm reading for a lot of reasons. I'm reading because I enjoy it. I'm reading because I like to learn. But mainly I'm reading so I don't end up a waitress in the Waffle House, right? So anybody read Norman Mailer's Executioner song? Anybody know what I'm talking about? So anyway, about 25, 30 years ago, a guy named Gary Gilmore walked into a gas station and shot a bunch of people. They eventually caught Gary Gilmore. His brother, Michael Gilmore, is a writer for Rolling Stone. In any case, they caught Gary Gilmore, they put him in jail, they tried him, everything else, and they convicted him and sentenced him to death. In Utah at the time, you could specify how you would like to be killed. And on the books, you were still able to specify that you would like to be shot by a firing squad. Gary Gilmore, in his misguided kind of machismo, decided that that would be a good way to die. So they sat him up in front of the chair. You got any last words, Gary? Just do it. And that is what inspired the Nike ad executives. You'll never think of that phrase the same way again. I apologize. Don't get me going on reach out and touch someone. All I can say is, values, they lead to mission. Okay? What we care about leads us to kind of articulate some thought of, let's put some words around this. Words in this context are good. The fact that you guys could rattle off a few of these things is helpful. It starts to define who we are as individuals, who we are as a company. It tells us what to do and what not to do. One of the worst things a business can do is engage in something called mission creep, C-R-E-E-P. Well, our main business is X, but I think we can do a little bit of Y. Your mission should be defining you to a degree. Doesn't mean you don't innovate. So a mission statement. Why the business exists and what the business will do. It adds substance, right? In addition to your current event a week from today, find me a mission statement. Take you 8 seconds. For some company, find me the mission statement, attach it to your current event, it's the same document, same piece of paper as your current event. And I want to talk through them. I think you'll be interested. Don't just do the first, poke around a little bit. See what you come up with. You'd be surprised. So, it defines your basic business. This is what we, company, are in this world to do, right? It tells what market we're in, right? The constituents of the business serves, our customers, right? The philosophy, and this is where we get back to values. Do no evil, not a mission statement, more of a mantra, but it still starts to get into values. It still starts to say, look, this is what we care about. And if we build on the premise that we started last week, or Monday, of what's important is creativity. What's important is moving things around in an intellectual way to give us competitive advantage. Knowing what we care about, pretty darn important. And these values do start to give competitive advantage. What's competitive advantage? What does that mean? How would you define competitive advantage? Try. Yeah, I mean, you can in some ways say that competitive advantage, you're either better or cheaper. Right. Go ahead. Well, how would Facebook get more well-known? Due to popularity? How did they get more popular? Think it through. How did they get more popular? No. How did they get more people? They're better. Who were they better than? How so? More private, less designed, not an assault on your senses of spam and crap, right? Was MySpace first? Who was first? Who? Who was before MySpace? Sorry? Friendster. Remember Friendster? You guys were little children, 4- and 5-year-olds on Friendster. You don't even remember. You friended your little 4-year-old. Let's play Batman. Barbie. Friendster, one of Friendster's quote-unquote features, you can only have 100 friends. Good idea, right? Trying to grow a network, let's cap the number of people. The other feature of Friendster, it took forever to load. Oh, still loading, great. Can't do that, right? MySpace came along. You know, we think maybe it'd be good if you had more friends. And we'll try and make it faster. They failed at the faster part. They also failed at the more friends part because are these people, your MySpace friends, really your friends? Really? You're going to go hang out with them? That'd be good times, right? Let me post my address. Come on over to the house, crazy stalker dude, right? Tila Tequila, come on, right? And you start going, you know, this is creepy. And also slow. It's good qualities, right? Facebook came in and said, we're going to do it faster, more private, not a visual assault. And that's how they got popular. Don't just start popular unless you're me. Mission statement. You explain to the reader what you do. Who reads these things? Investors.
Say if you're a nonprofit, your sponsors will, when you're doing grant writing, they definitely want to know.
What a good thing to bring up, and please continue to bring that up because I will err on the side of not talking about nonprofits. Mission statements are crucial for nonprofits, right? It's one of the first things that somebody that's looking to invest or otherwise in a nonprofit will look at. And it's a great point because in for-profit companies, what do you tend to look at if you're looking to invest?
The product?
Yeah, well, product or bottom line. You're absolutely right. You know, if I'm looking to invest, I'm going to say, well, what are you making? And you're going to look at a balance sheet. Well, not-for-profits don't have profits, right? The money they make at the end of the year, they can't keep, right? So all they've got is We are trying to do this thing. We are trying to solve this problem. We are trying to help this thing. And they darn well better have a good mission statement. And we could learn a lot in the for-profit business about how to make better mission statements from nonprofits. The reality in the for-profit world is people don't really read them. They go in some and you're going to find as you do that. What time does this class end, by the way? Sorry? Oh, we got lots of time. You're going to find that these mission statements aren't very helpful. They're generic, everything else. But we'll see that. So you'll start to question, why are they there? Well, one reason they're there, if you take the less cynical approach, is they force the people in the company to think this through. And encourage you that are in bands, that are starting business of any capacity, sit down for 10 minutes and write, what do you do? You know, what do we do? We're in a band. Yeah, we make music. Great. You and everybody else that's ever picked up an instrument. Right? Our music is good. Yeah. You and everybody else that's picked up an instrument. Start figuring out what your competitive advantage is. Start figuring out what it is about you that's going to make me tell someone else about you. Okay? Take that intellectual leap. When you start your nonprofit, what is that thing that you're going to write so that when I read it, I go, you got to check this out. You got to hear about this. That's how businesses grow. We don't grow businesses by shouting from the rooftops, my shit is dope. Right? I wish we did. Well, this word, look, I got some dope shit. Right? You don't care. Everybody's yelling at you, my shit is dope. Right? At what point does someone say, his shit's dope? And then you go, oh, let me check out that dope shit. I yell my shit is dope. You go, you're old and weird. Not checking out your shit, dope or otherwise. Who would you have to hear about my dope shit from to check it out? Someone, just random dude?
Someone you trust.
A trusted source. Jay-Z. If Jay-Z came out and he said, for shizzle my nizzle used to dribble down in VA, check this dope shit out. You check it out. He's a trusted source, correct? Where are our trusted sources most of the time? Friends. Peers. What? Peers, friends. Media. Who said media? It's okay. Who said media? Oh, popularity guy. No, no. Where? Who said media? It's all right. Let's talk it through. You're not wrong. I want to talk this through. Who would like to talk through media with me while these guys figure out who said what? Okay. Can media be a trusted source? In a sense, not really. How so?
Because you're not sure where information. Sometimes you don't know where information is coming from the source. It could be faulty. The information could be faulty, but it is trusted to a certain extent.
Let me ask you this. Fox News, fair and balanced.
No.
George Howard's shit is dope. You gonna run out and get it? The Onion, the AV Club. George Howard's shit is dope. You gonna run out and get it? Yes. Some of you. And some of you might run out and get it if Sarah Palin, new correspondent to Fox News, said it. It's okay. I'm not here to make judgments. You have to decide where your values are and with whom they align. Doesn't matter to me, and I'm not trying to convince you. But some people's values will align with the Onion's AV Club, where if they write about something, I'm going to get it. So whoever of the two of you said media, you're not wrong. But you can't say media generally. Go ahead. Can you? That's what? Sorry? Our friend Kim Kardashian charges $10,000 a tweet. You want Kim Kardashian to tweet something out about your product? 10 grand. Is this cool? Huh? It's awesome. if you're Kim Kardashian. If you're Kim Kardashian, everything's awesome. The goal of the business is to live up to that mission, and that's why it's important to write one. Right? We tend to do better with ourselves, with our lives, with our ventures, when we set goals, when we set objectives, when these are not ephemeral, when these are not these kind of floating things that, maybe I'll do it. We do better when we say, these are our values, this is what we care about, we're going to make it public. Because when you do that, it starts to get harder not to live up to it because it's embarrassing when you don't. And the process of starting is hard. It gets easier. That's why I encourage you guys to start now. Pre-mortgage, pre-kids, pre-car payments, pre-all those things. It gets harder. When you start now and you try and live up to something, I don't personally really believe in failure. Failure only exists when you just kind of stop. All businesses, all successful businesses are built on the foundation of failures. So the faster you start creating those foundations, the faster your success will come. Right? But living it up. Now, how we measure, it's hard. Right? Going back to our for-profit, non-profit thing. For-profit world, how do we measure? What do we measure? Profit, right? Company that's profitable in our, Gordon Gekko greed is good world wins. Non-profit, how do we measure? What is successful?
Popularity.
Sorry?
Popularity.
Popularity, there's another word I'm looking for. How do we measure in a non-profit world? Service, good, but what are you're shooting good, which would cause there to be impact. Nonprofits measure on the impact that we create. How many people have benefited from our thing? Right? Now, I would argue, once again, that there's some crossover here. Because I will tell you, the ultimate goal of a business is what? Wrong. Wrong. The ultimate goal of a business is attraction and retention. Getting people to try your dope shit and keep using it. Profits become a byproduct of this. Right? So again, for the for-profit world, non-for-profit world, it's impact. How many people are we affecting? Right? And if we can attract and retain those people, they'll give us money, or their friends would. In the for-profit business, how many people did we get to come to the website, and if they come once and leave and never come again, we lose. Right? We'll talk more about that. You don't have to write all this down, by the way. I'll fill in the blanks. Look at what I'm saying. Clear definition, right? I'm trying to get you to start thinking critically, start defining, start moving from abstract, I make music, to specific. I make music of this type that will serve the needs of this person. Is that reductive? Does that make anybody feel weird? I make music of this type that will impact this type of person. Why not? I'm glad somebody's brave enough to say it. I don't really like it either, but I can defend it. Go ahead. No creative freedom. I'm having to limit my creative freedom to make music for this specific thing, right?
And if you say who your market is, your market is
I say that I only sell to, give me a market. Who do you sell to? Because I'll say something inappropriate. Hipsters. I sell to hipsters. Let's define hipsters. Hipster Runoff. You know that website? Oh, you guys got to look at the Hipster Runoff blog. And nobody knows Hipster Runoff? Dear Lord.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I think I actually.
Well, please, by all means, look at Hipster Runoff. So define hipster for me. What you got on your shirt, hipster?
Penguin.
Oh, doesn't get any hipper than a penguin. What's a hipster?
I don't know. I mean, they're pretty broad.
Ah. But we started this conversation.
All right. My definition of a hipster
I went into a coffee shop at 8 in the morning. She's wearing a leather cap, fake glasses, a corset, a skirt, and boots, and high stockings.
What was my wife doing
And
at a
it was in
coffee
New
shop?
York.
So she's a hipster. Any tattoos?
I don't know.
Tramp stamp? You want a business idea? Here's a free business idea for you. Tattoo removal.
Yes.
All right, so we've kind of defined a hipster. Now, you don't like this, right? Why? Only hipsters will listen. Is this true?
Well, I mean, it would turn me off if someone said, hipsters like me.
Okay, I agree. So, given that, where do we start? If we can't define, if it makes you feel bad or sad and you don't like the defining thing, how do we market it? How do we get it out there?
I guess just describe how your product is unique without.
To whom are we describing the uniqueness of this product?
First, sort of close proximity to people.
Geography. So anyone within a 100-mile radius will like my product. Anyone.
Start without word of mouth, like tell your friends and then there.
Your friends. How are you defining your friends?
Anyone that you do relations with.
Why do you have relations with these people? Or
I think first you define your own mission.
Okay.
Define your own values.
Yes.
I would promote to everybody.
everybody.
I look
You
at
have a
like
blimp.
I'll make it general. My crowd, my audience general, because I mean, I look at it like you shoot from the stars, you have a crowd. It's like not really specifically trying to point out one type of person, but you never know who would like your music.
How will you do this? But that's not promoting generally.
I mean,
You're right.
put it out there,
Put it out there how?
CDs.
CDs. You've made up some CDs and flyers. Where will you put these CDs and flyers?
Everywhere I can.
Everywhere you can. You're going to make up how many CDs?
I start out with probably 500.
500 CDs. And you're going to put them where?
In the hands of my closest people first. The people
But you're making my point. You put them in front of your closest people, to use your words, who are what?
Well, my people are I have a wide variety of people that I don't.
Describe them. Do you have any 80-year-old white women as your closest people? How about some 12-year-old Polish girls? No. Describe your closest people.
I couldn't just put them in a
Yes, you could.
All right. Between the ages of 8, 17.
8? You're going after the 8-year-old market. You are Hannah Montana.
Now, my range are like 17 and 38.
17 and 38. Dear Lord. So you got a lot of 38-year-old fans, do you, huh? Couple 38-year-old fans, fine. And you probably have a couple 17-year-old fans, right? This is going to kill me. This was a booby trap left by the teacher in front of me. Let's get George killed. We'll take his head off with a blackboard. All right, what's that? Bell curve, huh? Thank you. Bell curve. Okay, standard deviation curve, whatever you want to call it. What does it mean? What does it represent? What falls under this curve?
Audience.
Huh?
The audience.
Everything. Okay? Okay, you said that you've got 17-year-olds and you've got 35, 38? 38-year-olds, right? I don't necessarily disagree. You probably have a couple 17-year-old fans. You probably got a couple 38-year-old fans. But now this here is, you know, this axis volume, okay? So if this is 5, this is, you know, 10, whatever. You get the point. So under here you've got like 5 people, right? Under here you got 5 people. So now maybe you've got in here in this range people that are, I don't know, 19, and this is 35, okay? So there are a few more people in here and a few more people in here. But really, your market is probably going to be somewhere between 21 and 28. Is that okay? Now, how many black versus white?
Probably like 30 black, 20 white.
Really? Is that evenly split?
Yeah.
Okay. So maybe that's not even a relevant thing. Black and white can like it. You know, it's like a cookie that has a black side and a white side. It's the cookie of peace and everything, right? The black and white cookie, right? What else can we do about your market here? How many people of, well, let's just start with this, okay, to use the example. If you've got limited funds, and if you don't have limited funds, we really need to talk outside of class, right? But you and everybody else has limited funds. You've got $1,000, or let's use your example, 500 CDs, okay? You got 500 CDs to do, as you say, put everywhere, correct? Does this help to kind of see where you might want to put those CDs? If you have to divide those 500 up, how many are you going to put in places where 17-year-olds are or 38-year-olds are as compared to how many you're going to put in this range? Wouldn't it make sense to put more that people in this age might follow? I mean, I'm just asking.
I mean,
yeah.
In that area, in the area where that age is located. But I mean, at the same time, I look at it like my mouthpiece is nice, so I'm gonna try to go.
I gotta use that. Is that like my pimp hand is strong?
Yeah.
So my mouthpiece is nice. Not familiar with that before today's class, but you can pretty much guarantee I'm going to be using that with some regularity. The wife will like that one a lot. Want you to know, Marcy, my mouthpiece is nice. Did I use it right? Everything? Okay, good. So, given your nice mouthpiece, looking at this, who is most predisposed? Where are the people that are most predisposed to go, your mouthpiece is nice?
Yeah.
In this world, correct? And this is all I'm trying to get at. You're not wrong that a 17-year-old or a 38-year-old could like your music. You're not wrong, okay? You're not wrong that there could be a 95-year-old woman, and as we go down the things, you know, it's possible you could have one, you know, albino midget dwarf, right? Are you going to market to that poor thing? Do you really want the albino midget dwarf contingency? Now, there are people out there that have businesses, bless their hearts, to service the albino midget dwarf population and probably do fine. That may not be your market. Go ahead.
Well, don't you think that when you're first marketing yourself and trying to get yourself out there, that you shouldn't be trying to, you should be trying to get any contingency that you can get at that point?
No, I think that's what most people do. And what is the success rate of most businesses and bands?
Not very good, but.
And that's because most people take that. My job here, right, is to teach something, okay? So while I understand the logic behind this, I'm doing my best to show you you're wrong. Not so that I'm right, because I don't care, but so that your strong mouthpiece can be heard more. And if you market and just say, I've got my 500 CDs, because anybody that hears my mouthpiece, my strong mouthpiece, is going to go, must have it. And I'm here to tell you, you are wrong. And I would rather you focus your energy in areas where people may be more predisposed to go, his mouthpiece is strong. I'm going to tell my friend about his dope shit. Go ahead. What? What's nice? Oh, I screwed it up. Can I say mouthpiece is strong, or that could be my thing? Well, I know I can, but am I going to get my ass kicked? Do you think it could catch on? Do you think it could catch on? My mouthpiece is strong. Oh, I don't think there's any risk of that. Go ahead. We're getting 17-year-olds high. The law's against that.
Your audience, you can say, like, keep your audience higher.
You want to get 17-year-olds so they can be fans for the rest of their life. Fine. But don't start there. Start at a place where you can get some traction and they can start telling. Look, 38-year-old person ain't really going to have a lot of sway over 17-year-old person. 17-year-old person looks at 38 person and says, your mouthpiece is not nice because you're 38, right? In here, 21-year-old person, yeah. And 28-year-old person, you got to focus here. This is not to say that your music can't ever get here. Start there. Figure out where there is so that you don't fail. You're not wrong, headphones. Right? You disagree with me still. It's okay. Let's battle it out. If I don't make...
I disagree. I'm just saying it's more, it's not such a defined concept as you can either put your focus here or you can put it here.
Why not?
You can focus it where you think the greater portion of your consumers will be, say the 21 to 28 year range, but like you said, you're not going to have many resources. So, like what I've been taught in my music industry class is that since it's becoming more accessible to everybody to stream their music online so that anybody can see it, that why not do that?
The long tail.
Right. Yes. So why not make it available to everybody if it's not going to cost you any more money than you already
I got no problem with that. There is a cost with the long tail. What is it? May not be monetary, but what is it? No, what is it? What's our only scarce resource? In economics, we call that cost what? We call that cost opportunity cost. So you spend all your day updating your Myspace page, your Facebook page, your Loyola page, your Mog page, your eMusic page, your Rhapsody page, on and on down the list. Instead of trying to drive people to your website, trying to drive people who actually care, in the hopes that someone wandering through eMusic will stumble on your music. Is that a strategy? That's horseshit. Hire who? Hire a manager. What will you pay this manager with? Minimum wage. Yeah, I'll work for you, brother. Go ahead. Researching a market. Now we're talking some sense. Thank you. Yeah, research, that's what I'm trying to say. You may have said it more articulately than I. Research your market and put your product in that market. If it doesn't take much time having your music on eMusic and all of those things, it's fine. I don't have any problem with it.
And obviously, you're not going to waste your time just trying to market. You're not going to waste, like, say, more than an hour out of your day just trying to market the Pie.
And I would argue that your hour a day could be spent massively better than updating your Myspace page. We're friends. Go ahead.
Well, I understand what you're saying.
Thank you.
Because it would be a better idea after I produce my CD to hit clubs where
we're thinking.
Those age ranges.
Yes, because just like age, we can do this for a whole range of other personality traits. Does this make you sad still? Or whoever, you sad? Does this make you sad? Am I saying that by focusing on this, we can't go broad or we're being too reductive with our music?
I think it's good because I remember like having my stepbrother, he had a Facebook, he was in college, and I was in 8th grade, and I was like, oh, I want one. He's
Scarcity is
So
good, yeah.
Scarcity for help numbers.
Well, I sort of look at it not from a musician standpoint, because I'm not a musician, so.
This does not apply to musicians only.
Yeah, I mean, like, just in terms of the band, I think, like one of the mistakes that, like, musicians often make is it's really hard to, like, sort of accept that, like, you do have a target audience, and I think, like, the way I interpret it is the key is, like, to encourage all fans, but to like, focus on one thing.
You have scarce resources. Focus where you can do the most good with your resources. Go forth and prosper.